let's move on, because we spent quite a bit of time on sleep. We've understood what sort of recovery is and why we need it. Another big area of recovery is food, and also what we'll come on to, supplements. Talk to us a little bit, mate, about how you go about recovery by using food.
Yeah, like it's alongside sleep, it's absolutely one of the most important things around recovery. You should be eating, I think, always with in mind what you're about to do and what you've just done. So if you go with that rule, which is an old school Mike Dolce rule. Do you ever know him?
No.
It's like an old school nutritionist from early days of like MMA and things like that. And he had always had a great rule that you should eat for what you've just done or what you're about to do.
Yeah.
So if you've just done a really hard workout, then you're going to want to be eating for recovering from that. So a nice even split of carbohydrate, protein, fats. If you're going into a workout, then you're not going to want to be taking on a load of fats or too much protein. We'll focus on the carbohydrates depending on what kind of workout it is. So if you're always thinking with that in mind and not thinking more on what you're like craving or how you're feeling, that you're thinking more in a practical term, then you can really use nutrition as a real powerful tool to help you to recover properly.
But we don't, do we?
No, often after a hard workout, especially here in Dubai, you're craving like sweet, cold stuff.
Yeah.
Which often isn't the best food to be having.
Yeah.
And then you take it on board. Let's say you finish a workout at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning after a long ride, and you get in and something cold, sweet, I'm thinking more like ice cream or stuff like that. You're going to eat that, and it's not going to give you anything useful to be recovering with. People will argue it's giving you protein from milk and sugars to replace carbohydrate. That's great, but there's no nutrients in there really. There's no micronutrients in there. So
there's no quality, and it's all synthetic.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty useless apart from cooling you down and making you feel good for that moment. But you should be planning your meal out. Okay, I've just ridden, let's say 3 hours, or I've just done a hard CrossFit class on a Saturday morning. I'm going to be burnt through some carbohydrates. So we need to get in some good carbs that are going to slow burn me for the up until lunchtime.
Yeah.
Right. So something that's a bit slow release, something that is going to not, if it tastes really sweet, then it's probably going to be very fast acting in your blood sugar, which is not always the best thing.
Yeah.
You then obviously, muscle breaks down proteins, exercise breaks down proteins in the muscle. So we need to look at a protein source, and whole sources of protein are probably going to do you better. So we're looking at like eggs or fish, meat, something like that. Then obviously you're thinking, okay, what else have I got through the rest of the day? You're thinking around getting in some nutrients to help you with recovery as well. So if you start to think before you've actually been to the workout what you're about to do, you'll have a meal plan ready for it. And if you're also thinking, how do you want to feel going into the workout, you'll plan the right meal before it as well.
Which I think this is an area where people are often underprepared.
Hugely.
And these things that we're talking about, the different silos of recovery, as we might want to call them, they will work with each other, and they will also work against each other for worse recovery. So if your sleep's bad and your food's bad, you've got two guys going against you, and there's not really much. There's a couple of things that we're going to come on to that could be going for you, but you've sort of missed two of them. And so if you've missed two pieces of the puzzle, then we're really going to be in trouble. And I think the preparation, I like what you said. I need to check this guy out, maybe, because that's kind of how I think when I'm going into an event. I'm like, right, what do I need to get in, and it maybe is a little bit of old school carb loading in a way, because I'm like, okay, I've got a big event this weekend, so the few days before it, I'll start to take on a lot more fuel. Because I need to be. Will I eat a massive bowl of pasta the night before? Absolutely no, because I don't eat pasta anyway. And it's too late anyway, and I'm just causing more issues in my gut. But if I've got something on a Saturday, I'm starting probably Wednesday evening, Thursday up at about 5 to 10%, Friday up about 10%, and making sure everything passes through. So we're preparing before, and then afterwards, of course, as you said, mate, sometimes to have an ice cream is a nice reward, but then it's like, how can I get the right nutrients back in as fast as possible?
One of the biggest tools to recovery, or people aren't using, is actually eating enough in their day.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you undereat, whether it's the next day or the day after, you're going to feel worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And so often people exercise for reward of food. They then eat a bad food as a reward, and then they skip a meal or they don't eat a meal later on because they're like, oh, but I ate ice cream after exercising, therefore I'll skip lunch and I'll be fine.
I think, and that's more as well about just inhaling useless nutrients, or they shouldn't even be classed as nutrients. They're just not nutritious at all.
Yeah, you're thinking too basic on a calorie level.
Yeah,